Hello, I'm Thal Smith, and today we get to go over the best episodes of the Ninth Doctor. Yeah, because that's awesome. So let's start with the very first really excellent episode Christopher Eccleston had, which is, of course, The End of the World. Now, the reason why The End of the World is such a great story is it's really one of the few stories in New Who that actually has aliens that are characters that are more than just the typical sidekick relief for villains, which is really fascinating. Not to mention the actual villain in this story is, a woman that's, a man that's alienist. Alienist is basically the same as racism, but with aliens. And, it's just a really great story that has all these different characters in there, You got these alien tree characters, and you got the face of Bo that was introduced in a very, actually, subtle way, considering. And, just overall, it's a fantastic story. The whole idea of having a story in the end of the world, and the way they sort of flip it on its head, being that the fact that the world is ending. There's no saving it, or no saving the Earth or anything. And the fact that humanity has already been saved and moved on to other planets and such. Yeah, I mean, the end of the world just is a fantastic, imaginative, creative, cohesive, well-written piece of science fiction adventure with some actual characters that actually die on screen and, for the most part, stay dead. For the most part. And, overall, it's a great story. The next excellent episode to mention is Dalek. I could point out so many things about Dalek and how awesome it is, from Dalek being written by a big Finnish writer and one of the considered best big Finnish writers. Or I can point out how Dalek's actually the best story to demonstrate the Time War more than the end of time, the 50th anniversary bullshit, and the season 9 finale will ever be able to capture, ever, because they didn't capture any of the intensity that Dalek was able to capture in terms of an actual war with actual cost and death in it, without being absurd. That Dalek was managed to do that. Point is, with Dalek, there's so many excellent aspects of it I could go over, but all I need to do is say one thing. One thing. That's it. There's two things, actually. It is also an excellent, cohesive, well-written, logically well-executed piece of science fiction. But the one thing I really need to say about Dalek, the only thing, is that Dalek is the only story in New Who that does not use any sonic device, including the sonic screwdriver or the psychic paper, at all. That's right, this story uses neither of these things. Sorry, I just had to do that. Anyways, moving on to the Empty Child Doctor dances. Now, I'm assuming most of you know about the Empty Child Doctor dances, and it is basically the only good script Stephen Moffat ever wrote. Well, Time Crash is good, but Time Crash is good because, mainly because of the direction in that one, the way they actually did the music in that one, and the, basically, acting of Peter Davison and David Tennant. As for, anything else Moffat wrote that was any good, well, there was another story later on, but I'm not going to delve into that. But the point is, the reason why the Empty Child Doctor dances is so good is not because of what you're thinking. Everyone assumes the Empty Child Doctor dances is so good because of its scariness. But that's maybe part of it being good, but only a very small part. The real reason the Empty Child Doctor dances is so good is because it is the only historical venture in the new series to
not rely on a famous historical person, a famous mythological character, or a famous historical situation to intertwine the story together. Rather, it has its own story with its own original characters that is just happens to be set during the London Blitz. That is why it's so good, people. Well, so there you go. The best episodes of Christopher Eccleston's run as the Ninth Doctor. Hopefully I get to do the best of 10 soon. And yeah, there you go.